Welcome back to the channel, and we are back at Instruments of Destruction because yet another update has come to the game that adds a lot of interesting new parts and 4 new maps with new functionality that, as you can see, apparently includes racing with AI cars. There's like a whole bunch of AI cars in this game, and I can literally take control of any of the cars, or I could just add my own. I could drop in one of the boulders and race a boulder along with the cars. There's no actual like racing mechanics as far as checkpoints or a finish line. It's just you get to have fun driving and drifting around. And it is actually really fun to drift, especially with the sports car. These things just drift like there's no tomorrow. And if I wanted to, I could just drift right into this fence, cause some destruction, because this is Instruments of Destruction after all. But the really fun thing about this type of race is if you're falling behind, you can, oh, hold on. You can just go ahead and take control of the next car up in the leaderboard. Well, there is no leaderboard, but if there's a car in front of you, just take control of it. Now you're in the lead. This is my kind of racing game. If you're in the losing car, just start driving the winning car. But this is just one of the maps, but one of the things I really want to focus on after checking out the racing maps and stuff is apparently there's a new hover part that is specifically made for building hovercrafts and things like that. It was possible to build hovercrafts-like things using the thrusters and the vacuum turbines and stuff, but apparently there is a new part. Here we go. Oh, and there's new controls. The repulsor drive and the hover drive. Here we go. So the hover drive is what we can use to hover at a standard distance above the ground or the water, which is actually being able to go over the water will be great too. And then the repulsor drive, from what I can understand, it's basically like a thruster or a booster, but it only applies force in the direction that your camera is looking. So that sounds like it would be incredibly useful for hover vehicles. But before we get to that, there's actually 4 new maps. This is one of them, and actually, now that I'm looking at it, this map is way more massive than I thought it was. This isn't only just a good map for racing on, but it's also a good map just to be able to test creations on. I like this one. But yeah, you can see as soon as I build in, all of these vehicles start racing around. And like I said, if I wanted to, I could just place a boulder down, take control of that, and now look, I'm racing them with a boulder. Imagine just trying to go about your day driving around and a sentient boulder starts getting in your way. All right, but this is just one of the 4 maps. There is also the grass track, which I'm kind of curious if this one drives any differently. Actually, speaking of driving differently, let's try out the pickup truck instead of the sports car. I think the sports car is my favorite. And actually, the pickup truck does not steer very well. I'm trying to steer to the right now. Oh, it kicks in after like a second. It'll start drifting, but you really gotta let it kick in. But hold on, let me spawn in a sports car, see if this map actually feels any different. There we go, sports car spawned in. And it seems like it tries to automatically, if you're not controlling the sports car, AI just takes over and it tries to control itself. And you can already see the, oh, well, if you get out of my way, you can already see the massive difference in the sports car controllability compared to the pickup truck. It's just way faster, way driftier. It's actually kind of hard to control the drift of this thing. All right, let's see if I can do some overtakes with a drift here. Oh, that was actually kind of fun. That was satisfying. And I really like the trail that you create on this grass map. Seeing all the grass, the blades of grass just fold under your car is really satisfying. But this is only half of the maps available now as far as the racing goes. There's also a ruins track, which looks like this. A lot of open space, and this one you can actually drive just right off, I'm pretty sure, of the course. And there's just a whole bunch of empty land out here, so this might be a fun one to practice some speed-based vehicles on. All right, I'm just gonna do what I shouldn't do and just cross traffic here. Look at that, no problem. Jumping up over right to the starting point. There's my cab. Hey, how you doing? All right, but there's one more track left, or one more map left, the desert track. So this one looks like it has some fun bridges and stuff. See, the AI knows what the course is. I do not have that knowledge. I gotta follow the AI first. Why aren't the bridges being used? Oh, excuse me, I'm just gonna take you over real quick. Yeah, how strange. It seems like the AI is designed to go around this course, avoiding this whole bridge section, which I find kind of weird. I figured we'd be going under the bridges and potentially destroying them. But doesn't mean I can't just do that on my own and ignore what the AI is doing. All right, but I like the island track the best. I think I'm gonna use this to test out my hovercraft that I'm gonna try to build. And also we can test it out on the water because I believe the hover drive also floats over water. So let's just do quick super initial test here by just placing down the hover drive, changing the controls to, I don't know, up and down makes sense to me. So we have strength, we have activate mode, and we have hover height. So let's set the height to 4. I have no idea what unit that is. All right, so here we go. So right now it is not activated. Oh, what are you doing? Okay. All right, well, when I press the up arrow, it should turn on, right? Up. Oh, well, that is interesting. All right, so 4 is apparently a very, very, very low height. I don't know what that height is, like what those units are, but let's see what the maximum is. 32. I feel like that's not even really gonna be that much higher. Oh. Okay, look at that. These are kind of amazing. There's gonna be some awesome hovercrafts coming out soon. All right, but now we have something called the repulsor drive. If I attach a repulsor drive, see, now I have no idea how this is going to work. So we have tune strength, we have roll strength. Roll strength? I don't know what roll strength is. Left, right, forward, back. So you can adjust your turning power separate from your forward and back power. That's kind of nice. All right, but let's see how this feels now. So I'll activate my hover thing. And then when I press W, we go in that direction. And if I press S, we go in that direction. Now what about turning? Oh, left and right is not turning, it is strafing, which makes sense for a repulsor drive. Now, if I turn my camera to face this way and I press W, oh, look at that. So I'm holding W right now, and it is just going in the direction that I face my camera. So if you create a perfectly symmetrical hovercraft, you'll basically it'll go in whatever direction your camera's facing, and it'll kind of all feel pretty natural, I think. Here's something I forgot to try out. What does the tune strength do for a hover drive? So we were on 1 before. Now if I put it on 8. Whoa. Okay, I understand now. It just locks you in. The higher your tune strength, the more it really locks into that location. All right, hold on. I got to do another setting here. Tune strength of the repulsor drive all the way up. All right, there we go. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Wow, look how strong this is. This is crazy. These vehicles are gonna get insane. See, this just lowers the barrier to creating awesome vehicles so much more now, because you no longer have to like completely balance with thrusters or propellers or things like that. Like this just makes it so much easier to just add this functionality and focus on making your vehicle awesome in every other way. It's such a time saver, and it doesn't eliminate the option if you want to create a cool conceptual vehicle that uses propellers or that uses, that relies on thrusters for balance. Like, this doesn't even take away from that, because that's still impressive on its own. This just makes it so that you don't have to do that if that doesn't want to be your main focus. Okay, so now what does roll strength do? Whoa. What? Now that confuses me. So roll just makes it roll in that direction as well as propel in that direction. There's another interesting thing about this, because if you notice the way that this spawns in, it is like nice and balanced here, and then as soon as I start rolling, you see it, like I just press it a little bit. It kind of feels like we're in outer space right now in a vacuum, but then if I hold it, you can see as it finds its stable axis of rotation, it's just in this orientation. This is its stable axis of rotation. It is not stable in the vertical position. Kind of like when you try to spin a hammer and it does that flippy thing. It just has this this certain axis of rotation that is more stable and unstable. I am a little bit confused of like what the intended function of this roll strength is. Like I was thinking maybe some kind of omni wheel or something, because it'll roll in any axis. Is like whatever button you're pressing, it wants to roll in that direction, or whichever direction you're facing, it'll roll in that direction. But why? I'm having trouble thinking of instances where you would want it to do that versus just staying level. All right, so this gets me curious now. If we have the repulsor drive in here, the repulsor drive is strafe based. So when I turn, it doesn't actually turn my vehicle. It just strafes my vehicle. But what do I do if I want my vehicle to turn when I'm not gonna have any friction with the ground? That is gonna be my next question. So I'm curious, I think I can use a gyroscope. If I just have like a max power gyroscope and I have it snap to its initial direction, if I rotate the gyroscope, that should cause my vehicle to rotate as well, I believe. Yeah, check that out. So now when I rotate the gyroscope, my vehicle rotates. Yeah, and this actually totally works. Look at this. Oh, but you know what's confusing about this? The repulsor drive, because I have my camera locked on normal right now, forward doesn't actually apply to the direction I am facing anymore because the repulsor drive is based on my camera. So what I would have to do is actually switch it to follow cam. Now, as I turn, my forward direction is also going to go pretty much in the direction that I'm facing. Oh boy, this is, I made it go way too fast. I like how responsive the repulsor drive is, but it doesn't really feel as natural as I feel a rocket booster would be. So let me attach a couple of overdrives to this thing along with some thrusters on maximum strength. Time to max, is that new? All right, well, time to max down to minimum. So instant max power, that's a good setting to have. Gonna change this to W and S. So now when I press A and D, you can see I turn left and right. And then when I press W, oh my goodness. Okay, I got, they're on toggle right now. The center of thrust is not good. It pitches me upwards. All right, maybe time to max on 0 is not good. I think having the ramp up is actually really useful. So let's do it at the default, 1.5. Let's see how that feels. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that feels much better, except for the fact that we are still angling upwards, which is not good for the hovercraft. All right, here we go. This actually works a lot. Oh boy. This actually works a lot better at having the gyroscope underneath, and that way my center of thrust is a little bit high. So when I go, it points my nose downwards, but then the hover drive is on such a strong setting that it doesn't let me thrust into the ground. It keeps me above the ground at this level. And just look at how fast this thing is. Oh man, it was unbelievably easy to make an OP hovercraft out of like just the minimal amount of parts. This is like one of the smallest, most controllable hovercrafts I can think of. Like go over the water. Oh, look at that. Look at this. This is so great. It's kind of mind-blowing to me just how simple and easy it was to make something this functional. Oh, you know what this needs? I need some type of air brake. Like, how do I just stop myself like this? Like, I can't brake. All right, you know, I guess one of the more reasonable ways to do it is to just add backwards thrusters. So now this vehicle has the ability to brake when I'm just facing in the direction of travel, but now I have the problem of when I've been doing some turning and stuff and then I brake, some of that energy just gets transferred sideways, and then I have nothing to stop this sideways motion. I am going to actually use thrusters hooked into directional sensors. So these directional sensors are going to automatically prevent strafing unless we decide to strafe consciously. All right, I think I finally made the modifications. It was a little bit more time consuming and difficult than I expected it to be, but now you can see if I'm strafing to the side, basically it's going to automatically stop itself. You can see the sideways thrust going out. There you go. So I got a side thruster here, and then I have one buried in here as well. But when I want to strafe consciously, I just gotta press the buttons and it'll override the auto braking. But then when I press nothing, it'll automatically stop itself. So that should also make steering a little bit more intuitive. As I go around turns, it's actually going to be pushing me into the turn more. I feel like I've got pretty decent controllability with this thing. You know what? Let's not even worry about the course. Let's just drive out over here. Man, look at the ground clearance. I think I made this thing a decent amount heavier, so I actually have to double up the amount of hover drives to make it a little bit more solid at its hover level, its hover height. But now, this thing feels great. It goes really fast. Ow, it flips around. It might even be worth it to add another gyro, to be honest, to stabilize this thing, but it actually does a pretty good job on its own. Oh, and I almost forgot. This thing has guns. Look at this. It is also an instrument of destruction, whether it's via ramming or just shooting. You know what, let's hop into one of the regular maps and actually try this thing out. Yes. I mean, the recoil is actually a lot. Like, if I don't press anything and I just do the recoil, this is how bad the recoil is. That's how fast it makes me go backwards. Man, this is my awesome, destructive hovercraft. That was way more destructive. I'm just going through all of the buildings. This is amazing. This is actually really awesome. I feel like a piranha. I feel like a piranha just chewing my way just straight through the food. Just drilling a hole into them. Well, that is my hovercraft built with the new parts. Let me know what you guys think of this new update and what kind of possibilities you'd like to see happen with it. If you guys enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.